Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to be talking about Stop Killing Games. This is being done by the Coursed Farms, who is known for the inner mind of Gordon Freeman comedy sketch, but they do also video related topics in it. And this is a very interesting and very important thing to me and many other people, and that is why I bring it up. So I will link a Coursed Farms video that they made. It's about 30 minutes long, but we're just going to be going over the Stop Killing Games, the website created for this. So, Stop Killing Games is using the situation associated with The Crew, which was something that got announced for shutting down, as an opportunity to try and do something about these games that don't need to be online, in games that even if they have online, that they're not giving us the tools to preserve, be able to run or keep playing them on our own. And if you want to go, I will also link the website, of course, down below, because this is very important, especially if you own The Crew. If you own The Crew, you will have much power in helping in this. So, of course, there is a FAQ in that for anyone who has any questions about things related to this. I would like to think most of everyone associated with me viewer group is well aware of these kind of problems, so I won't personally go into these. But if for some reason you, as a random viewer or someone unfamiliar with the subject, you can find the FAQ there. So, taking action. Now, basically, the strat here is it's a worldwide attack on all these practices, and no language options for assisting, obviously, those who are not English at that. But essentially, they tried to simplify this where you can select your country of origin, get options that you can do. Now, from what I understand, the main reason is that France has very high law for consumer practices in that. So this is being considered a very big thing. Now, on all these categories, if it has the little pound sign star thing next to it, it requires you to be in possession of the crew to take these course actions. So like these 3 course actions require you to be an owner of it on the crew. Now, sadly, America, as I am, I do not own the crew because I had no actual interest in it because of being such a game. Then racing, I'm not really a big racing person, so sadly my options are low, sadly, and the American front. Admittedly, like I said, owning the crew is probably required for a good chunk of these higher ones. Here's one, like the UK has a petition you can partake in. Government petition. These are government petitions. Very important to understand. These are not regular petitions where like, oh, well, I can't. These are government petitions to get the government to actually do a meeting on these subject matters. So the ones with petitions, if your government has a petition option, please sign it, because it is an opportunity to get your government to actually do a sit down and actually talk about these. So, preferably if you have any of these, man, it looks like Europe has a lot better options than America, sadly. But that's mainly because America, Germany, it looks like France, Germany, and EU have pretty nice options. Canada, the United Kingdoms, and Australia have petition options for non-crew ownerships. Brazil, yeah, it looks like Brazil and America, if you don't own the game, you don't really have any real options. Everywhere else, yeah, so yeah. So if you own the crew, which technically you could just go buy if you can find it. Anyway, if you own the crew, though, you will have options in all of these. But yeah, it looks like, honestly, for non-crew members, which probably be most of my audience, I can't imagine too many of you all have the crew. But if you don't, and you live in France, Germany, other EU countries, Canada, United Kingdoms, Australia, you all have options that you can do that don't involve you needing to own. So, like the citizens incentive and that. But yeah, they also have a priority order, like medium, high, low, and that. So, obviously, try to do all of them if you can. But essentially, the idea is we all doing all we can. And sadly, I don't own the clue. I might look to see if I can find a copy to buy so I can partake in this. Though I think it's already been shut down, hasn't it? So, but I mean, technically, I could still find a physical copy. I mean, if it's already been, killed, I mean, I imagine it's really cheap now, right? So I might have to look into that myself. But anyway, essentially, we're here to encourage you to try and help in this incentive. This is basically a global effort to anyone who cares about preserving games. If you care about preserving games, ending these practices of not letting us be able to own our game or even have ways of maintaining a game. Like, I always said before, like, I find it sad that in the old days that many of you younglings probably wouldn't know, that we used to be able to just connect computers. Hell, there were even consoles. You could connect to each other and play multiplayer games that had no single player or anything. Why do those options not exist anymore? It's something I've always been baffled about, especially when it comes to PC, a marketplace that it shouldn't be an issue. If your game is not an MMO, I don't feel like there's any proper excuse not to be able to make a lane option. But lane options have become almost a practically extinct option in a market that used to be like PC games back when I was growing up thrived on lane, having it as an option. And, as like Ross says in this video, if you go and see it, that, if you give the tools for someone to make a fan server or something, as we can even see now, people have made fan servers of things, of multiple deceased MMOs. Fucking Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2 has fan servers on the PS2. Like, Phantasy Star has console and PC fan servers. This stuff exists. It's out there. And if the tools were just readily given to the audience, people would be able to maintain those kind of things. But obviously, at a corporate level, the important thing to understand is these people don't care about any of that. Your fandom, your love for the games, or your possession of the games, or rights to be able to keep being able to play those games. From their perspective, you playing those games is counterproductive to their continuously milking you of money. Because if you're playing an old game, you're not buying a new game, in their eyes. Regardless of whatever the fuck your rights are. And that's not any of their business. You bought the game and you should have every right to continue playing it. So I hope if you actually care about the game industry, owning your games, and being able to play games in the future, because more and more games in the modern era of gaming are in this very terrifying stage of being lost outside of piracy. People are like, oh, there's piracy. Piracy, the 7 C's will save us all. Look, piracy has saved a lot of games. There are a lot of games that are still accessible because of piracy. But we're talking about legally. And even when we're not talking about just being able to legally play the fucking thing you have, there's a lot of games being lost to being digital only. Piracy. What about online only? Many games that are being online only are becoming endangered. And even more endangering is cloud service games. Cloud service games have no data on your side to steal data packs and shit from. when we get to that point in gaming, if ever, you'll have nothing on your side. And when it's dead, it's dead. And that's why this kind of stuff is important for the future of gaming, not just simply the here and now. Yes, there's stuff here and now that's deeply affected by this stuff, but in the direction that the game industry is going is more important even for the future, for this kind of stuff to be addressed before the status quo that the corporations would rather have gets more established. This is a very important moment in gaming right now. As Ross said in his own words, that if we can get one country to do something, it is likely going to be a ripple effect, because many of these companies do business worldwide, and it's really hard for them to solely do one thing in one country and sell the exact same game in all the other countries. They usually have to do a status quo of maintaining all of it. That's why, like, a lot of the laws and shit about internet is a big concern to everyone when, like, one country is going to try and enforce some law about the internet. Because even though the law is for that country, pretty much all the internet is going to bend the knee to it, because it would be more complicated to fucking be able to just simply have that one country be affected by it. It becomes more and more complicated. So, the more countries we can get to look into this and hopefully decide that the consumer rights have some point, are the better odds of a better future and a better now. And a better preserving of not simply just our regular single-player games, but even greater of multiplayer games. Anyway, I applaud you. Please, if you're able to sign any of these petitions, if you're able to sign any of these things related to owning the crew, please take the time and fill out your region, country's information that you're able to. I want you to protect your rights to gaming. We should all do our part, whether it be to inform people, whether it be to fill out as many things as you can. I myself, I am actually going to take a look at finding a copy of the crew so I too can do my part. So until next time, I hope to bid you adieu out there in the proving grounds. Make wise decisions, and for the betterment and the greater good of everything, let us protect all consumer rights for games. I know not everyone cares about this subject now, but I feel it is very important. Games are a form of art, expression, opinions, and story. They can touch the heart, and they can show great meaning to everything. So, let us all do our part. Until next time, I'll see you on the proving grounds. Be safe and fight.